Hey, good evening, everybody. Atmavandan. Very warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining today. We'll be doing the reading first, then we'll have some reflection, and then we'll have some meditation. So, Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Okay, so today we're on chapter 3, which is Buddha without and within. We're partway through the chapter. We're on page 22. And I'm just going to read a few sentences as to where we stopped yesterday. But all the stories narrated in the Puranas have a profound meaning, and if you miss the essence, you will be confounded. Many a times, if something is stated simply, the point in making that statement is lost. One has to seek out the essence, search for the meaning. And when you have to make effort to know, only then will you value what you have found out. Similar to what I mentioned in my last talk about churning of the ocean. The story of Samudra Manthan, churning of the ocean, didn't take place in the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. So which ocean does this refer to? Your mind. Itself is the ocean. The virtues and vices in your own mind represent the gods and demons. And when you churn this mind using your intellect, all the hidden traits emerge from the depths of your own mind. Another Purana narrative is as follows. It is said that just before Sri Ram left to conquer Ravana's Lanka, he made a Shivalinga on the bank of the ocean and prayed to Lord Shiva for his grace. At that very moment, Lord Shiva was offering his prayers to Sri Ram, glorifying the divine play of his life. This may seem perplexing, but carries an underlying abstruse meaning that one has to discern to seek out. Purana uses the language of love, affection, and sentiments, all related to the mind, for the mind has imagination, whereas the intellect has reasoning. The Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita, on the other hand, are based on intellectual reasoning, rationality, and contemplation. Intellect raises doubts, questions, and then takes a decision after all the rationalizing, cognition, and contemplation. The mind has sentiments and emotions, whereas the intellect has reasoning and logic. It happens every now and then that some people who come to see me start to weep on seeing me. Now, the accompanying people try to console the person as they think the weeping is happening because of some grief, some problem. Little do they know that this is but a wave of faith, of love, of devotion. Mind knows the language of love and emotions, whereas the intellect knows the language of reasoning. The mind is a wave, upsurge at times and downturn at other times, but the intellect remains steady and logical. For example, if you tell someone that you have a feeling about doing or not doing something, the listener will say, "My dear, it is just a whim of your mind. Forget it." On the other hand, if you say, "I have taken a decision after much thinking," the listener will take you seriously and ask what the decision is. Mind has sentiments, and it is the intellect that makes the decisions. But remember, before the intellect decides, it will raise doubts, questions, and concerns. Only when these are satisfied that the intellect takes a decision. So, Purana is a language of sentiments, emotions, nothing to do with intellect. On the other hand, the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita are all about the intellect. They require your inquiry, reasoning, and understanding. One doesn't need the intellect to love and be in devotion to Sri Krishna, but one will definitely need the intellect to understand his Bhagavad Gita. Likewise, one doesn't need the intellect to understand the Purana and the Srimad Bhagavat. One just gets swept in the flow of emotions and sentiments present in all the narratives. In the era preceding the lifetime of Buddha, Hindu religion was predominantly based on the Purana, related to the mind and essentially based on faith. However, Buddha gave precedence to religion based on intellectual quest, cogitation, and contemplation. Buddha never mentioned or discussed anything about the existence of the soul, God, or Brahma. This was a rather radical shift from the prevalent faith based on doctrine of those times. In fact, wherever Buddha would go, his disciples would forewarn people that they could ask Buddha anything other than the following three questions. Who or what is Brahma? Who or what is Atma? Who or what is this universe? Any belief which is blind, that has no basis, can never be resolute. And this can be seen so commonly in people depending on their circumstances and state of mind. People will sometimes believe there is a God and at other times completely deny the possibility of a God. Buddha says it is extremely rare to get a human life. However, Buddha is not making a reference merely to being born in a human body. Simply being born with a human form does not mean that one is humane. Can you smell the fragrance of a rose flower by just sniffing at the rose seeds in your hand? No, you have to sow the seeds in a fertile soil, water the plant, only then will it flower, and you can then smell the fragrance of the flower. Not before that. Likewise, human body is like a seed. Now, if you sow this seed in the fertile soil of spiritual practice, water it with wisdom, let it mature in the fire of austerities, only then will the flower of humanity blossom. Otherwise, one is born as a seed and dies as a seed, never flowering, never blossoming. It is true that the presence of the human brain is what makes humans superior to the other species inhabiting this planet. However, it is equally true that just having a brain is no good if one doesn't utilize it to its immense potential. Utilization of the intellect for betterment and evolution of the self, procurement of wisdom and power of discrimination, this indeed is extremely rare. And this is what Buddha was also alluding to. It is indeed extremely rare to understand what it means to be a human, to grasp the purpose of life, to make use of one's intellect and innate discriminatory power, and take efforts on the path of awakening. Now, this is exceptionally rare, and Buddha was referring to this rarity. He also refers to the fact that given the natural calamities and diseases, perpetual occurrence of newer infections and maladies, even if one is born in a human body, it is very difficult to have a long, productive life. In Buddha's time, there were no vaccinations for infections like polio, tuberculosis, whooping cough, etc. Moreover, there are always new diseases, newer infections that keep cropping up all the time. AIDS, SARS, swine flu, to name a few. And how can one get treatment for diseases that haven't been as yet understood by science itself? Moreover, even if there is any treatment, it is so expensive that ordinary people cannot afford it. Buddha continues that even after one is born in a human form and manages to stay alive, it is even rarer to follow the doctrine given by religion. Here he clarifies what he means by religion: that which advocates the qualities of truthfulness, humility, compassion, ministration, clemency, love, being charitable, and camaraderie for one and all. Merely going to a temple and making some offering is not being religious. Do you have unconditional love, compassion, and benevolence for one and all, without any discrimination? One may be charitable and even have empathy for others, but it is indeed very difficult to unconditionally love others without having any expectation of receiving anything in return. This is the most difficult thing to do. Hence, Buddha says that it is even more difficult to be religious in the true sense of the word. To be able to follow and practice the religious doctrine, one has to first listen to, and understand the tenets from an enlightened master. It is only when one comes in the contact of an enlightened master that there is a possibility of getting inspired to better yourself, to become humane, to actuate all your spiritual potential. At this point, Buddha concludes the last part of the precept by stating that the singularly rare and indeed the most exceptional event is for a human being to get enlightened. That is the most difficult and rarest of the rare possibilities, a singularly exceptional, extraordinary event. It is about 2,500 years since Buddha left his gross body. However, even today, it is possible for someone in a deep state of meditation to connect to Buddha. Buddha had said that although he was leaving his gross body, his ethereal presence would be still available to all seekers needing his assistance and guidance for their spiritual upliftment. Buddha was born on a full moon day. He attained enlightenment on a full moon day, and it was indeed on a full moon day that he left his gross body. It is said that before he attained enlightenment, on every full moon day he would pray with earnest fervour that may his ignorance be eradicated and his whole being be illuminated with the light of experiential knowledge and wisdom. Buddha was born as a Prince Siddhartha. King Shuddhodhana was his father. He was conceived after a long time, and hence at his birth lavish festivities were held in celebration. The entire kingdom was reveling in the jubilation when the king noticed a sadhu, a hermit, coming over. This was a renowned and much sought-after recluse. The king himself had wanted to meet him, and here he was, paying a visit to the king. The king was elated, as he thought the hermit had come to bless his son, to crown the prince. To the king's bewilderment, the hermit touched the baby boy's feet to his head, and tears started to roll down the hermit's cheek. The king got apprehensive, as he thought that maybe the hermit had sensed some ill omen that it would befall the prince. The recluse replied, "On the contrary, I have never seen a future as illuminated as a child's. Bear in mind, O king, I have come here not to bless your son, but to seek blessings from this divine incarnation, as it is extremely rare for this event to happen." "Why are you crying then?" questioned the king. The hermit replied, "These tears are of sadness that by the time he grows up and starts teaching the pearls of wisdom, my body would have died. These tears are of the heartfelt prayer that I be reborn again so that I can receive his invaluable enlightening teachings." Meanwhile, the king was shaken by the hermit's prophecy. He was dismayed to hear that his son would grow up to become a recluse, relinquishing the kingdom and renouncing the world. All he had wanted was a son who would be the successor to the throne and rule over his kingdom. He asked all the astrologers and learned men in his kingdom to study the prince's horoscope. They all unanimously replied that either the prince would grow up to be an accomplished emperor ruling the world, or else he would renounce everything and become a recluse, an extraordinary hermit whose words of wisdom will illuminate the lives of millions of people. Needless to say, the king was petrified. After all, which father would want his son to relinquish everything and live the life of a recluse? So the king came up with a shrewd plan. He ensured a luxurious upbringing for the prince, who was showered with all possible materialistic comforts and riches. The plan was to entangle him in this materialism so as to keep him away from the harsh realities of life. He wasn't allowed to leave the palace so that he could never see poverty, illness, old age, suffering, and death. It is even said that the king would ensure all shriveled flowers be removed in the night itself, so that the prince would only see blossomed flowers. This was the extent of the king's efforts to keep him away from anything that could upset the prince. Siddhartha was highly intelligent and immensely talented. He effortlessly mastered all that was taught to him, be it horse riding, martial arts, music, or any art. As soon as the prince reached his youth, the king got him married to a beautiful princess, so that there would be no possibility of any dispassion to the world arising in the prince's mind. Soon Siddhartha had a son named Rahul. By then, King Shuddhana's anxiety and fear had subsided as he felt that Siddhartha had become totally engrossed in his life, enjoying his days with his wife and son. So he relaxed the restrictions imposed on Siddhartha's movements. One day, Siddhartha expressed his desire to see his kingdom, and the king relented. However, an announcement was made that all people in his kingdom have festivities, decorate the roadside with flowers and lights, let there be music and dance, and in general, all be merry. Siddhartha was very elated to see all the merriment and beauty in his kingdom. On returning, he told his charioteer, Jana, that he would visit his kingdom again the next day. The following day, however, there was no preparations for his visit. Hence, there were beggars, old people, and sick individuals too, out and about. Siddhartha had never ever seen an old person before. He asked Jana, why is this person's body bent forward at the waist, and why is his skin sagging, wrinkly? Jana replied, it is nothing, my lord, he's just old. Siddhartha further asked, will I too get old? Jana replied in the affirmation. Soon enough, Siddhartha saw a man writhing in pain and crying aloud in suffering. Siddhartha queried about his state. Jana replied, my lord, this man is about to die. Siddhartha asked what death meant. Jana replied, when a person befalls ill and his illness cannot be cured, he dies. Needless to say, on seeing all this, Siddhartha's mind was in great turmoil. The chariot had moved only a few steps further when Siddhartha saw a funeral procession where people were carrying a dead body that had been tied to a wooden frame. Siddhartha numbly got down from the chariot and quietly joined the procession to the cremation ground. He watched the body burning in the blazing fire. Siddhartha was shocked to his core. It was like his heart had been pierced and shred to pieces. Siddhartha could not bear to watch this and broke down into tears. He was sobbing his heart out. Is this the fate of all life? One day my own father, my own son, will light fire to my body. Is this all that his life is about? His mind was in sheer agitation. With great difficulty, Jana managed to get Siddhartha back onto the chariot and started taking him to the palace. On the way back, Siddhartha saw a recluse sitting under a tree. To Siddhartha's amazement, the hermit's face was so serene and lit up with contentment, peace, and joy. On asking about the recluse, Jana said, he's a sadhu, a hermit, the one who is in the pursuit of God and lives a life of austerity, full of spiritual discipline. Hence, he's so peaceful. Siddhartha returned to the palace, but by no means was he the earlier Siddhartha at all. Gone was the fun and frolic, no solace in food or music, not even in sleep. He sat all alone in agony and utter distress, tortured by so many questions. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? What is the point in living? Why is there so much suffering and pain? Why is death inevitable? What is death? The list of questions was endless, and there were no answers that could act as a balm to his tormented heart. Needless to say, he could not stay in the palace in that state of grief for long, and soon one night he left behind his sleeping son and wife, the palace, the grandeur, and walked away forever. He rode on Jana's horse, and when he had left the kingdom far behind, he stopped. Not giving in to Jana's imploration to return back to the palace, he bid goodbye to him and walked away into the forest. Okay. Shall we stop there, Monikaji?
You can read it for next 10-15 minutes, then we'll go for meditation. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Okay. The first person he met was a beggar. Siddhartha removed all his precious clothing and jewelry and gave it to the beggar, and instead wore the beggar's torn clothes. He cut off his long dresses, considered to represent beauty, with his sword and shaved off his head. He did this as the hermit he had seen under the tree had shaven off his head. This was the start of his long quest for as a master. He moved from one guru to the other, from one ashram to the next. Wherever he went, he learnt with dedication all that the guru could teach him, and then he would ask them that he still hadn't received the wisdom. The gurus would resigningly accept that they themselves didn't know any more than what they had already taught him. Exhausted and worn out after the long, tiring quest, he entered the deserted forest alone. He gave up on food and water. His body became weak, debilitated, with bones sticking out. There were 4 sadhus who were impressed by his austerities, and they stayed with him. It is said that in that state of emaciation, he once had to cross a small river to get to the other side. However, such was his weakness that he fell unconscious and later had to drag himself to the river bank. A thought arose in his mind. I have been practicing austerities for the last 6 years, and the result is that my body has become so weak and helpless that it can't even cross a small river. How will I then have the strength to get liberated of the bondage of this world? Whilst he was thinking, the sound of a woman singing came to his ears. The words were, "Don't tighten the strings of the musical instrument so much that it breaks, and neither keep it so lax that it can't produce a melody." On listening to these words, he received the first tenets of knowledge. Putting the body through such austerities is not going to lead to attainment of wisdom. The middle path of moderation is the right way. The lady came up, bowed to him, and then gave him a bowl of rice pudding as an offering. She said that the earlier night she had a dream where she was asked to go to the forest and offer the pudding to the hermit she would meet. Siddhartha happily accepted the offering and ate the pudding. After all, he had received the first tenet that starving the body is not going to lead to enlightenment. On seeing Siddhartha's eating the food, the 4 sadhus who stayed with him got disappointed. They interpreted his act of eating to returning to the worldly affairs. Hence, their opinion of his caliber as a seeker dropped. Siddhartha persuaded them to stay and stated that whenever he would attain the highest wisdom, he would pass that on to those 4. They, however, did not heed this and left him. Incidentally, there is a very sweet anecdote written about those times. It is said that Siddhartha placed a flower in a picture of a leaf and floated that on the river. In his mind, he thought that if he is destined to get enlightened, the flower will float against the direction of the river flow. Lo and behold, the flower started to float in the direction opposite to the flow of the river water. A sweet smile spread on Siddhartha's lips. He then sat down under a peepal tree with the firm resolution that he would get up only after he got enlightened. Having tried and tested all types of methods and austerities and failed to get anything, he finally sat down under this tree, moving inwards. Several mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights passed, and then, finally, on a full moon night, with the rising of the moon, the luminosity of enlightenment illuminated his entire being. Siddhartha became Buddha. It is said that he then got so deeply immersed in that state of enlightenment that the worried celestial beings appeared so as to dissuade him from taking Mahanirvana. It is beyond human intellect to comprehend the phenomenon of Mahanirvana. But what can be said is that it is a state of absolute dissolution, non-reversible, point of no return. And if that happened, then who would spread the word of wisdom to the thousands and thousands of ignorant people? It is said that they implored him to come out of the deep state of immersion into the cell and spread the wisdom he had received to all the scores of ignorant people and alleviate their suffering. In the precepts given by Buddha, there is one tenet which states that even the celestial beings are not enlightened and they envy the state of an enlightened master. On listening to the appeal, Buddha said, "Those who seek genuinely will get to their destination, just like I did. Without the presence of any enlightened master in my lifetime, however, the celestial beings continued to plead, urging him not to enter the state of Mahanirvana and not to give up his body. Eventually, Buddha relented. It is said that he then touched the earth with his right hand, saying that, O earth, you be the witness to this moment where I have not entered Mahanirvana and continue to stay in this body for the welfare of mankind." He said that the sky, the stars, and the moon were witnesses to his sadhana, dedicated spiritual practices, all the pining for deliverance, and finally the attainment of the ultimate wisdom. After that day, for 40 long years, Buddha walked from one region to another, establishing ashrams relentlessly, spreading Dhammapada, his teachings, guiding ignorant people, alleviating their suffering, initiating seekers, and accepting them as bhikshus, disciples. He ordained yellow clothes for his disciples. The disciples in their uniform, yellow clothing, would move gracefully, one after the other, taking slow, measured steps with slow and deep breathing, completely alert and aware, beautifully singing, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami,
Gacchami.
Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. Sharanam Gacchami means I take refuge in you, surrendering completely to your will. I take refuge in the Sangha, the entire confederation, including Buddha and all his disciples, walking on the path shown by him. I take refuge in the Dhamma, the doctrine which upholds and supports the disciple on the spiritual path. This can loosely be taken as akin to dharma. I have to finally take refuge in the dharma, but for that I need the guidance of an embodied enlightened master, one who is a Buddha. Yes, enlightenment of a human being is an extremely rare occurrence. Nevertheless, at no point in time in this earth benefit of the presence of an enlightened master. Once a renowned philosopher came to meet Buddha. He inspected the entire ashram premises and saw all the disciples, who were of all ages, male and female, from all strata of society. He asked Buddha, "In this ashram, are you the only enlightened one, or are any of your disciples enlightened too?" Buddha replied, "There are other enlightened ones here, but you may not be able to recognize them. Several flames can be lit from one flame. Similarly, in the presence of an enlightened master, awakening happens to some others too. However, as long as I am alive in the form of a master, they will remain obscure. But the day I leave this body, that day you will be able to see the Buddhas enlightened through me." Ananda, Moglan, Sariputra were amongst the main disciples of Buddha. However, the world came to know of them only after Buddha had left his body. As long as the master is alive, a disciple will remain unknown, no matter what all he has attained. Wherever Buddha went, people from all walks of life would get attracted to him. Just like bees get attracted to a flower, they would come with the intention of getting a glimpse of Buddha, but would end up staying forever as his disciples. Such was his tremendous magnetism. May you too have the fortitude of walking on the path shown by Buddha and light up the lamp of wisdom within you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Babaji. Thank you, Lord Buddha. Deep, deep gratitude. That concludes our third chapter.
Thank you, Meena ji, for the reading. Because we all know the glimpse of Lord Buddha's life and everything. But when we read it, we are reliving that era. When you were saying that, he born on full moon and everything happened in his life, means the special days, all happen on full moon day. uh, I was just seeing that, he is taking birth on full moon, getting enlightened on full moon. Whatever you were saying, even the river scene, the lady is offering, means it is like I am in that era. I am the witness who is seeing what is happening, and even the flower I saw. When you were mentioning, and it shows that how your soul is connected. It is also the way you are presenting things, reading things. You are making that thing very real for all of us, that we can catch, that moment, not means on in the way of thought, but also receiving it in the form of a picture or visualization. Thank you very much. And from Siddhartha's life, we learn so many things, that until something happen to us, we are in a trouble, then only we realize. For example, like he born in a very good family. The parents give him luxury and everything, and they try to protect him so much that they don't want that he will get any idea of outside world, right?
Mm,
But the moment he showed he saw all this suffering and pain, because that time he was adult, it is very hard for him to take it that way. um, so it is coming in my mind, like, sometime we as a parents, we struggle. We don't show our kids that side of us, that we don't want them to suffer, right?
mm,
But
mm,
from Lord Buddha's story, this is hitting my mind, that be true to yourself and to others. The more you are true to yourself and others, what happen is you are allowing other people to learn their lessons, so that something if happens suddenly, they won't go against it, they will accept it. So this is what I was getting when you were reading that. Show since from, because if we used to see something from your childhood, it becomes your habit. You're
mm,
used to with this thing. But suddenly if something happen, like,
mm,
you see people around you, some people get panic when there's something even very little happen in their life, because they don't know how to handle the situation. And some
mm,
people, they are too young, like Prahlada, how he handled the situation in such a young age, where
mm,
his own father was against him, right?
mm,
Entire family was against him, but still he have, because his faith in divine and himself was so much that he was not bothered about it. Mirabai, another example, she been through so much in her life,
mm,
and after means facing all those things, her devotion, her faith was like, the like divine was testing her again and again, but she never gave up. The
mm,
same with the Lord Buddha. He lived a luxurious life, but when the moment he left it, he become, curious about that. I want salvation. I want
mm,
to get enlightenment. He didn't left his path in between, and as he didn't left the part in between, the people who were used to show that they are very spiritual, like, the four people who were with Lord Buddha during that time, their faith, because they don't have that deep knowledge what Lord Buddha got. They didn't get that knowledge because maybe they practice something else, and they are, for them, torturing our body is the way, getting enlightenment.
Yeah.
But here Lord Buddha also is showing us that uh, how he accepted everything as a divine will, that the moment the woman said that, it came like someone will come and I have to offer the food to that
Mm.
person.
Mm.
He got that the lady got that intuition before
Mm.
it is going to happen.
Mm.
In the same way, so many lessons we are learn means, in these chapters, these
Mm.
lessons we are learning, that how the faith change your destiny.
Mm.
But one thing we all need is a surrender, that what is happening, it is happening for my best good,
Mm.
nothing. Why means universe created all of us. Why universe will give me pain? If a universe created me, universe gave me pain, where universe saying that this child is still in a first class and other kids are in 10th standard,
Yeah.
right? So this child needs to be in standard, because this child needs have so much education, and maybe that child is more deserving than 10th standard. Maybe this child having the knowledge of a university level, right?
Mm. Mm.
And these are the very beautiful thing. If you correlate it,
Yeah.
means so many things. I think everything is our perspective, how we see the things. Some people might think other way around, that oh, he don't have to left his luxurious life. He suffered later on. But now, in this era, we all wish to live a life like Lord Buddha. Doesn't matter we are with families, but internal Buddha. Like when in the quote is in the beginning, Meena ji mentioned Buddha inside, within and outside, right? So when my inner self and my outer self become one, that is the level where I achieve that level of Buddha, where I bring that balance within myself. He suffered because he never saw those things. But when you balance those things within yourself, and you create a healthy and harmony with everything around you, and you will see the beauty in everything. You want to see, like he was just sitting under the Bodhi tree and sharing his wisdom with the people, and people coming from the far, and how he changed the life of Angulimal, how still he is changing our life. And the astral master came to see him. Celestial, what you mentioned here, they came
Mm.
and they asked Buddha about that. See, when you are enlightened, we don't know how much knowledge a person hold, until and unless that person reveal themselves to us. If Lord Buddha won't disclose his identity to people later on, people don't know about the wisdom he is holding within himself after enlightenment. And for that, he worked patiently on himself. And is, you are reading, but I'm enjoying these chapters. Thank you so much. Deep, deep gratitude. Thank you. If anyone else wants to share anything, please do unmute yourself. And Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, we know about since from our childhood, we are listening to it. I think there was a serial on Lord Buddha in my childhood. We used to watch that, where they all these things we saw that when he left his home and everything, and even yes, Champaji, please.
Oh, just like you say, Monica, Jim, I'm really enjoying this, listening to Minaji's story. Buddha. It's really nice. And can we chant for a minute, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, if there is time?
Yeah, yeah, sure, please.
I really
Minaji,
like that.
unmute yourself.
I like that chanting. When
Yes,
we start the meditation, yes.
yes, start.
Thank you,
Buddha.
Minaji and Monica ji. Yeah.
Monica, do you want to do the chanting? Monica, did you want to do the chanting?
Actually, I'm waiting for Champaji to start. I said, like, we will follow her. Champaji, start.
I don't know whether my tune is going to be right.
It's fine.
I only know the one. Is it different words each line or just one?
It's the same line.
Is it
Buddham
Buddham
Sharanam
Sharanam Gacchami?
Gacchami. Yes.
Because I thought there was different wording in each line. Is it
Uh,
not?
I think there is two lines, not just one line, maybe.
Buddham
Buddham.
Sharanam Gacchami. Yeah, and then is it Siddham?
There's 3 lines in the book. It's
Yeah, come on then. Monica, Mina just started.
so I don't know the tune. I don't know if I'm saying
No,
it
it
right.
doesn't matter the tune. Is the our
The
what's it?
words are super
Yeah, the
powerful.
words, our
Yeah.
our heartfelt chanting is important.
Buddham Sharanam
Gacchami,
Gacchami Dhammam
Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami,
Gacchami Sangham
Sangham
Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami,
Gacchami
Buddham
Dham
Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami
Gacchami,
Dhammam
Dhammam
Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami
Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Buddham
Dham
Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami
Gacchami,
Dhammam
Dhammam Sharanam
Sharanam
Gacchami
Gacchami,
Sangham
Sangham
Sharanam
Sharanam Gacchami.
Gacchami.
So, and the meaning of these line is Buddham Sharanam Gacchami means मैं बुद्ध की शरण में हूँ, that I am in the shelter of Buddha. Oh, you explained it already, yeah? When you were reading the lines, I
And read
think.
that paragraph again if it helps, just to
Yeah,
explain.
yeah. Yes, please.
Sharanam Gacchami means I take refuge in you, surrendering completely to your will. I take refuge in the Sangha, the entire confederation, including Buddha and all his disciples, walking on the path shown by him. I take refuge in the Dhamma, the doctrine which upholds and supports the disciple on the spiritual path. This can loosely be taken as akin to dharma. I have to finally take refuge in the dharma, but for that I need the guidance of an embodied enlightened master, one who is a Buddha.
Sorry, Minaji, was like there is no sound. Sorry, I disturb you. I'm getting guidance that we will do meditation with this one, Buddha's chanting. So I'm going to play it.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
and can we have these 3 lines with the meaning on in our group?
okay.
I'll take
Because
I'll
I
take a
really,
picture and I'll put
really
it on the
like
group.
it. Yeah,
I'll
I
take a
really like
picture.
it.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that for you. That's fine.
So
thank you.
please please sit in a meditative posture. Cross your feet, clasp your fingers into fingers, and gently close your eyes and forget about the things happened before this session. Let's connect with the energies of Lord Buddha. Let's connect with Buddha consciousness. When you're inhaling, inhale Buddha's consciousness, and in each and every cell of your body, feel the vibration of Buddha consciousness. Your entire body become more calm, relaxed, and peaceful. Now bring your whole attention towards your third eye. Just focus on your third eye and connect with Lord Buddha wisdom. with complete surrender. Connect your third eye with the consciousness of Lord Buddha.
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami.
Connect with the energies of Bodhi tree. We all are sitting under Bodhi tree, holding each other's hand. And keep focusing on your third eye. Connect your third eye with Lord Buddha's third eye for that divine guidance. Lord Buddha is bringing more calmness and peace to your life. Right now, you are asking for a direction. Follow the path of complete surrender. In this moment, just see yourself in the form of a energy holding no name, no identity, no background, no knowledge. When you are empty from inside and outside, you are ready to receive wisdom from astral masters. See your energy merging into the energy of the universe. Relax, completely relax. Someone is very nervous. I can lie to myself. I can't lie to energies. Relax. Relax. Be one with the universe. As you unified with the universe, just feel the field inside you, outside you, is just the flow of divine spiritual love, peace, and harmony, spreading in all directions with each inhale and exhale. Head to toe, it is spinning, energizing each and every cell of your body. And through your feet, you're releasing everything which is holding you to become a best version of your own self. Feel your oneness with your own core. Place your hand on your heart center where we have our heart chakra. Place both of your hands there. And when you are inhaling and exhaling, expand your chest. Feel your own oneness with your own body, mind, and soul. And show deep, deep gratitude for today's experience to Lord Buddha, to all astral masters, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, all five elements, entire humanity. Deep, deep gratitude to all of you for joining this session. And when you're ready, slowly, slowly open your eyes. And Lord Buddha is in front of you on your screen. Connect your third eye with his third eye. Just look at his third eye. You will get some message. You might feel huge pressure on your third eye. It's completely okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Masters. Thank you. I don't know out of blue because before the session start, I was getting some guidance. I was just ignoring it. But then in the middle again, I got it and then I ignored it. But in the last, like, she is even sharing something, and I was like, there is no background because I didn't share music today. I don't know when I shared my YouTube, there was background music already. And then I was like, okay, divine's plan, not my plan. So deep, deep gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Monikaji. That was so, so beautiful, so divine, very uplifting, honestly. Really, really grateful. Thank you so, so much for you and everyone sharing their energies with us today.
Thank you. Enjoying it. Very high energy.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.